Hello, enjoy this tale from the depths of Reddit. Title: Friend, 24M, falsely accused me, 25F, of cheating. Boyfriend, 25M, doesn't believe me. I want to start by saying that I know this situation is really messed up, and I understand why my boyfriend would be upset and suspicious, but I can't believe he doesn't trust me. I've been with my boyfriend, Paul, for 3 years. At the beginning of our relationship, Paul had trust issues because he had been cheated on before. I made it clear that I had never cheated on anyone and that trust was crucial for me. He agreed, and over the years, I thought I had earned his trust. I've always been honest with him and never cheated. He asked to see my conversations with male friends twice during our relationship, and I showed him. The second time, I told him I wasn't happy being treated like I was doing something wrong without any reason. He understood and never asked again. One of those conversations was with my friend Roger. 2 years before I started dating Paul, Roger confessed his feelings for me, but I told him I wasn't interested. Since then, I thought we were just friends. Roger never gave me any reason to think he still had feelings for me, so I assumed everything was purely platonic. A week ago, Roger and I met for coffee. Out of nowhere, he confessed that he still loved me, said Paul was a terrible boyfriend, and insisted I should be with him. I was shocked and uncomfortable, but I told Roger I loved Paul and I was not leaving him. Then, I left. When I got home, I found out Roger had sent Paul a crazy Facebook message, claiming he loved me and implying we had been having an affair. Paul believes it completely. I've tried explaining, but he thinks I'm lying. He doesn't want to see or talk to me anymore. I'm devastated that Paul believes this over me. I'm embarrassed and angry at Roger. It's been a week, and I can't convince Paul to talk to me. I've tried reaching out to Paul multiple times, explaining everything in detail, but he remains unconvinced. I've offered to show him all my messages and even suggested meeting in person to talk things through, but he refuses. This whole situation has left me feeling heartbroken and helpless. I never thought our relationship would end because of something so baseless and out of my control. I can't understand why Roger would do something like this. I feel betrayed by someone I considered a friend. It's hard to believe that someone would go to such lengths to sabotage my relationship. I'm filled with a mix of sadness, anger, and confusion. I wish Paul could see how much this situation is hurting me and how much I care about our relationship. What should I do? How can I prove to Paul that I'm telling the truth and that Roger's accusations are completely false? Update. Before I update you on what happened, I want to address a few things I missed in the first post. First, Paul knew I was having coffee with Roger. It wasn't a secret. Paul has female friends he meets for lunch or coffee alone too, so this wasn't unusual in our relationship. Second, Paul did not know that Roger had told me he loved me 5 years ago. I realize now I made a mistake by not telling him, but it honestly seemed like old history to me, and it never naturally came up in conversation. Finally, Roger and I didn't have a particularly intense friendship. We hung out occasionally and kept in touch if something relevant came up, but we didn't just chat randomly. With that out of the way, here's what happened. I took the advice of some commenters and, once I calmed down, I messaged Roger on Facebook asking why he lied. He responded with, "What do you mean?" and when I pressed him harder, he gave one-word answers or didn't reply at all. He never actually admitted to lying or gave any reason for his actions. Finally, I sent him a definitive message stating that I had never had an affair with him, that I was incredibly hurt and angry, that our friendship was over, and that he was never to contact me again. He replied, "Okay," and that was the end of it. I sent the entire Facebook conversation to Paul. I didn't expect it to save our relationship but wanted to clear my name. In the message, I asked Paul if Roger's reactions to my questions and my response to Roger matched what he would expect if Roger's accusations were true. Paul didn't respond that day, but he called me the next day. Paul said that the more he thought about it, the more he believed me. The conversation with Roger helped him realize that Roger's responses didn't make sense and that he now thought nothing had happened between Roger and me. However, Paul also said that despite believing me, the trust between us was broken, and he couldn't be with me. I got pretty mad and yelled, asking why I was being punished for something I didn't do. Paul disengaged from the discussion. It wasn't my finest moment, but I was overwhelmed with frustration. We eventually ended the conversation calmly, if not amicably, and he will drop off the stuff I left at his apartment later this week. I've learned my lesson. Any declaration of interest from a friend will now end that friendship forever. I will also never date someone with trust issues or a history of being cheated on again. I know I might sound bitter, but it feels like my fidelity and honesty during those 3 years were pointless. I was treated like a cheater even though I was 100% faithful, and both Paul and I ended up hurt and alone. Better to end up alone or stick to friends with benefits than invest 3 years in a relationship only to have it end like this.